Hello.
Yo, yo.
Buongiorno. Buonasera.
I'm still eating. Oh my God.
You know that this is recorded, right?
Hmm.
Okay, 5 minutes.
3 minutes.
I need to reclaim the host. Host key. You have the host key?
Do I?
You should. Otherwise, we need to coordinate. Hello, Max.
Hello.
Oh, that's a lot of energy.
Oh, sorry. I forgot that
It's okay.
my mic is still disting a bit when I'm using Zoom for some reason. So
I love it. We can use some energy. I don't know if I have the host key.
But now you are the co-host.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I don't know. Okay. Thank you, I guess.
Max, consider that you are the third arriving. I promoted to co-host in case of emergency that Max or Flor or me needs to do something. You can be helping people. Okay, thank you. You have
absolutely.
been promoted.
There was no time to accept it. It was just thank you. You've been voluntold.
Thank
Exactly.
you for volunteering your work to be promoted.
Thanks. Sounds
Okay,
good.
I'm going to make some tea before starting the meeting. Okay.
Good points. I'll do the same.
Wait, who's making me tea?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Hello. Good time of the day to you. Where are you based?
I'm based in Poland,
Ah,
close
okay.
to, in Warsaw, so it's afternoon actually.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably in the same time zone, no?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
The heck, Luigi? I thought I would recognize your voice.
I was using 3 tones below my normal voice, I guess. There is a
To be
snowstorm.
inconspicuous. Yeah.
There is a snowstorm outside, so I guess I'm being a little affected, and we're
Really?
expecting 10 to 20 centimeters of snow in the next couple of hours. Yeah.
Wow. Sounds actually quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really hoping for the lakes here to freeze over so we could go ice skating, but no such luck. Guess I really need to move to the Nordics, eh?
So there is no snow anymore in the Netherlands right now?
No, we only had a little bit. It was very
Mhm.
disappointing.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Even if I love everyone talking about snow, which is not the case here in Tuscany. Welcome to the community meeting of today, February 5. We start with some announcement. The first one, thank you, Max,
2025?
for
What year are you in?
2026. Thank you, Max, for offering yourself as a co-host. Thank you for your work. And the second one is at some point, I'm at home now because at some point the technicians to check the heating will come. So I will have to drop or stay somewhere else. Okay. So in that case, Flor and Max, you're in charge. Thank you. You have been assigned. Okay. There's a lot of things that, and more things has been added into the system, the agenda. Okay. Sorry, been doing a lot of stuff. One of those was the release. You should be able to see this, right? Can you see it? You see the agenda?
Yes.
That is perfect. I'm excited. I love this new system of agenda. It's so beautiful. Okay. So first thing, I already made the announcement that I was planning because first one, we have the release. We just finished the release, and this situation and this opportunity, our dear friend Marco Nenciarini was leading the release, and 127.3 and 128.1 was released as usual. Please test, escalate issues and test. And if you find that some cluster crashed, please remember that you need to run test environment test, okay? With that being said, there is a couple of things that happened in the middle, a lot of fixes, some entertainment. Please take a look and need to remember something. The release is in process. We haven't published the blog post yet. We haven't published anything on LinkedIn. We haven't published on the social medias and everything because it's in process. Okay, so, and if someone is going to ask why this OpenShift it hasn't been there yet, it's in process. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue. Interesting thing, these two, especially because of the extensions. So it will be nice that you take a look and start testing, okay? Someone has something to say about the release? No? Okay, thank you.
You know, another really important and useful thing is the fact that now it should be a lot less common to have the standbys that try to go on a timeline that is higher of the primary one, because there's a fix and we prevent from standby from downloading any timeline that is higher than the primary. So in case it happens, you should be able to clone a new standby.
Yeah, that is one of the important fixes that we have. Okay, but there is release note and enjoy. Obviously, don't go to the pull request. The beautiful ones are in the page release that you go on GitHub. Click here. See, 32 minutes ago, we're working for you. You will see everything in a beautiful format. Okay, let's continue because we have a lot of things to cover today. Thank you everyone for participating. I love this. So, first one, auto resize, auto growth. I remember this. Want to make some, this is coming from the last meeting. It was Jeremy, that I'm guessing that Jeremy is here, but it was basically about doing the auto resize. After digging on this, Leonardo, that I'm guessing that he's not here. Yeah, he's here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Want to say something about it before? Okay, Jeremy is here. Before Jeremy enters in the game. I'm guessing that is a no.
Did we have a chance to talk about this last time?
No, that's why you moved it to the next meeting, which is now.
Okay.
So Jeremy, go ahead. You have the mic.
So it's a topic that's come up a bunch of times. I've seen it in the Slack, and it was something that, let me see who it was that pinged me on Slack and asked me to bring it up in the meeting. I think it was Jeff Milo. So Jeff had done some work with, there's another project that tries to auto resize. I should go find the link. That tries to auto resize PVCs, and he was trying to get it to work with CNPG. I know we talked about this though last time, because I remember posting the link, sharing the link on the video chat to another Postgres operator project. Yeah. Oh, it's right. No, it's not that one. I remember talking about how some other Postgres operators have this functionality built into the operator. And sort of the question would be like, is this something that you want to do in the operator, or is this something that you want to just have external projects rely on? You want to rely on external projects and try to do integrations to do it. I remember sharing a link last time, but I can't edit the doc now.
I have one thing about the auto resizing. I am always scared about the fact that people set auto resize on the volume of the wallhead red head log, and basically they have an issue and the replication doesn't work, or there is a replication slot that is stuck, and they allocate basically all the storage to that directory before noticing. So that is one thing that is I know that is not a good reason to not do that, but something we need to be careful about.
I got lost.
And
Mark.
I remember
And Jeff
we had a
Jeff
few.
did not make it to this meeting either.
Sorry. I remember in a meeting of tag storage when we discussed on making something that a component that can work for everyone about that. But unfortunately, we didn't go forward, and there was no time. So I guess everything is stuck there.
I mean,
I remember
sort of
we. Oh, sorry.
mhm.
I remember we discussed this and we asked CADA developers if it was in their scope, and I think it was not in the closed scope that they had, so that got stuck. But it wasn't in, not just for CloudNativePG. It was like generic solution for all databases. Trying to find the discussion or the ticket or whatever.
Yeah, I know there was a Slack discussion, and Jeff got one. He worked on getting a third-party one to work that's already out there to work with CNPG, but he ran into issues where they were kind of stepping on each other somehow. And I don't know if CNPG, like you set a size in CNPG, so like I don't know how that's going to work if the volume starts changing. Seed has a hand up. I should stop talking.
Okay, thank you. I think that we could at least begin with some recommendation, like, for example, this type of generic tools, or in some cloud provider that have already the auto grow with their disks. So I think, for example, I could say how I have some experience with AWS disks. We could just have at this, for example, some blog post or some recommendation that in version 2 could be in the official documentation, and maybe could be automated or something like this. But we could do small steps to have something up and running and the final step. Thank you.
Are you suggesting to just collect links to, I can do that. Like I think I shared some last time, but I can link to the documentation from cloud providers and from other Postgres Kubernetes operators that have this functionality built in. Like if folks just want to see like a reference.
Yes, I can contribute also in my site that how to do a simple up and running, and to do the things hands-on, and to how to validate that the auto growth is here, for example. So just a small topic. If we have the information, we could do something about it.
For me, it looks like a good idea, starting point with documentation, indeed, for reference.
So I put one in the chat from Crunchy.
Oh.
That's the same one that I think I shared last month at the meeting, at the dev meeting.
Yeah, it's the same one you shared. So we should put this in the agenda.
I thought so.
Why you cannot edit
I don't know.
Okay, if someone cannot edit, this could be an example. You need to go on the top, and you will have you need to log in.
I think. No, you know what?
It
I did not realize. I got it
anonymous.
now.
Yeah, but it requires to at least be logged in because it's anonymous, but to avoid people spamming. Okay. I think that it's a really good idea. Someone is offering to create this set of documentation.
So is there an openness to having this in CNPG? I mean, is it worth spending the time on a PR is the question.
We have a section that is called the CNCF project integration. Probably we can have a section like recommendations, cases to use case, advices. Let's find a word that is properly appropriate for the documentation where we can put, okay, this is in this case of use, if you are using CNPG on Amazon and you want to auto-grow, the recommendation is this documentation page on Amazon and follow these steps. If you are in Azure, this is the set. If you are in Google Cloud, this, and what is the name that the one in Europe? OVH, I think.
No.
Hetzner. Okay, Hetzner. Best practice.
Yeah.
Okay, best practice.
OVH is
good
one.
idea.
Yeah, definitely OVH. Yeah.
Well, OVH, Hetzner, perfect.
I think
it's more than actually it will be really useful and lovely because I think we had this idea a couple of years ago, but didn't make any sense because there was not so many experience.
But I thought this was just something that the storage class handles in Kubernetes. And as long as the storage class supports, I don't think it should matter whether it's on Hetzner or AWS or Azure. It's just should matter whether the storage class supports it or not.
Yes, previous on Azure there were some issues.
Yes.
But
yes, there were.
now it should be solved. So you're right; it should not matter.
One of the things in the documentation, it's one of the reasons why CNPG has so good documentation is the documentation is not just for the operator itself, but also how to use it and when to use it. So it's just to help other people in the future. Even if we all know that the storage class is the one affecting, that probably should not be an issue. Some people will arrive using the operator without knowing this, and then they will find it in the documentation and someone that already had this experience, and that is really nice for someone that is starting. Or to avoid cases I still remember when Jeff was having a lot of features in Azure with networking, and he ended up putting all that information in the Slack. So yeah, I think it's that kind of information can be really appreciated, and as a best practice, a section here before appendices, obviously, it will look really nice, I think. In my opinion, it's something that we need and a lot of people will use.
To be agnostic, we could, for example, do two types of the same CSI driver. For example, one for the cloud provider, AWS or whatever, and the second one with a CNCF project like Longhorn from Rancher. That could be agnostic also for the ones that don't have a public cloud. Yeah, I think, Jeremy, if you want, we could both work on it if you want.
Well, there might be other people willing to work on it. I might be able to find some time. But it's down on the list for me, though. I have 2 other things I'm working on first.
Okay.
So I think the big thing was Jeff was working on trying to integrate an outside thing. And I just think it would be good if we're open to the idea of having it in CNPG. That simplifies trying all the things stepping on each other, the problems that he was running into. It's just that somebody has to sit down. At least it's an indicator. If somebody wants to find the time to do the PR, it's likely to get reviewed and looked at.
Oh, hey, Jeremy, I was able to hop on. Yeah. So are we talking about
the auto growing disks?
Oh, geez. Cool. So Yeah, I think it might need to live in CMPG. I don't know how much you went into it. I went to the what I thought was the #1 PVC auto resizer, and I was able to make a PR for that. But I ran into a race condition where if at the same time I resized all the PVCs, CMPG didn't like that. And I found that operators need to be aware of when you're resizing PVCs from out under them. Because basically all these things were just underlying the PVC, but if there was an operator that needed to know about a cluster, there wasn't really a way to do that. So I added an annotation that said, hey, when this PVC needs to grow, you need to patch this CR with this value. And I got all that working. And then there was a bunch of conflicts. And that's kind of when I realized that maybe having it external isn't a good idea, just because it's probably going to mess with the reconciliation loop and it's going to act differently with each CSI. So how will we feel about bringing it in? Because I think it's an important feature.
What was the name of the one that you tested with? I just want to add it to the notes.
I'll send it to the chat.
I was sitting here searching for the Slack thread because I know it's on the public Slack. I just couldn't find it fast enough.
Here is that. And I'll drop the PR too. It's a shame it worked really well in my 2 lower environments. And then I hit the timing issue, and of course it only happened in prod, right? It wasn't too hairy to fix, but I wouldn't want someone else to run into it.
Thanks. I'm just adding those to the notes so we don't lose them.
So sorry, the other kind of weird thing here is if you make a PVC auto resizer tool and it needs to be operator aware, it's no longer a PVC auto resizer tool. So it's not necessarily something that they would necessarily want to bring in either, because now you're getting people are like, hey, this isn't working with this operator or something like that, and you were just trying to make a PVC resizing tool.
Well, but the operator should already be handling the PVC resize. So if for some reason when you resize the PVC, it remains stuck, probably is a kind of bug that we should solve.
So speaking of that, and I wish I had left it, but we're actually in the process of moving a bunch of production systems over to CMPG, not our main stuff, but a lot of kind of ancillary systems. And I went to resize one of my clusters and it got stuck. And it looked like it was an issue with the Azure CSI thing, and I had to go under and fix all of it. But in my pull request, I erroneously, when I patched the cluster, I actually was patching the PVCs too, and I think that's a problem. Like if I make my PR just patch the cluster, it might work. But we still haven't gotten a thumbs up from the authors necessarily about wanting to upstream this. They have some trepidations, and I know we do too. I think it would be a nice feature because it's available in a lot of the managed providers, and I think that's. I'm not saying we're going for feature parity with that, but I think we'd like to get close to it.
This is definitely something to continue. Marco, you have a lot of experience with the Azure stuff, right? Probably we should start.
Not really. I was only the one that removed the Azure workaround once. So we noticed that it was 2 years that the fix was merged in Azure. So I'm not an expert. I think Valerio is the one that knows more, but Valerio is not here.
While we're on the Azure topic, I had a question about, and sorry if I'm jumping out of order and I joined so late. I had a volume snapshot fail 43 hours previously. So then 43 hourly snapshots failed. And I know we only want to have one backup going at once. And my monitoring was going off, but we had it muted. I'm just wondering, is that correct behavior? I know we only want one backup going at once, but like if 43 are going to fail after that, like should that be a configuration option, like some kind of timeout?
Well, if I think in the last release we have fixed the bug that make a backup remain stuck forever until you delete it. So if
in point one,
reason,
right?
Yeah,
the one that just
released one.
Yeah, I was reading it. I'm like, I think this would have fixed it. So I'll test that and let you know.
Yeah, Armando did several fixes to the backup code to remove the possibility of the backup remain stuck or not noticing that the underlying pod have changed for some reason, especially if there are the online updates enabled. So yeah, let's try it because probably it solved the.
Okay, let's continue move forward. Probably we can discuss a little bit more in the next community meeting on the office hours about this because it's not like a really big issue that we can prove. And Jeremy, I see that he's typing a lot, so probably we'll use this as a agenda for the office hour next week. It could be a really good idea, by the way. So yeah, so let's move forward because we have a lot of things to talk and we don't have much time. Sorry about that. So webhook dependency made optional.
Yep.
What is this?
Yes.
This is Max, obviously.
Yes,
Yeah.
Max and me.
Again, yeah,
It was
yeah.
us who did it.
It's I have a feature request, but the pull request just answers the feature. But I figured I'll keep it complete. But I'll let you do the talking, Gellert. It's your.
No, you already started. Go for the feature request, then explain, I guess.
Right. So basically, I mean, our complete goal is to have the CNPG operator be deployable without any cluster-wide resource access in the RBAC. That's the big goal. And in another pull request, we removed the node dependency. And this sort of sums it up, wraps it up completely. So basically, we move the webhook functionality to you can make it optional. So instead of running the webhook server and the admission controller, you have a runtime guard, I think is the name of the package here. And that basically validates all the resources, backups, clusters, whatnot, to make sure that they are compliant. And the validation is the same as what the webhook provides, basically. But we are moving it from the admission step to the reconcile logic.
So one important thing that last time came up, Jonathan, you remember us bringing a similar change where we changed the HTTPS to HTTP, and it was a bit outrageous, I would say, that was removed. But with Leonardo, we discussed this, and then we figured out the webhook server running and providing ready endpoint is not really adding any value if the webhooks are not there. So there is no traffic to be routed there. Right, Max? That was the conclusion that we took. So the webhook server is completely disabled, and we require you to not add the liveness, readiness endpoints to the operator in this case. So this way, we don't need to create self-signed certificates. We don't need to have any handling of the webhook server CAs or whatever that was happening there, because the initial draft was kind of hacking that part around. And what we miss here is the additional testing that Max actually started doing in his change, but I would like to base my change on his after that can go in maybe in the future. So we could build that namespace test part forward. Yeah. So I would like to get some review on the actual code here, and the documentation can come on another commit as well. We are here to work on this with Max, actually.
And probably we should also highlight that credit is where credit is due. That this is based on Leo's poke that he took and created 2 weeks ago. So that we don't sort of confuse anything.
Yeah, we were trying to be minimal as well with the changes. Of course, maybe there can be some improvements. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not a small change because it introduces the admission guard package.
Yeah, exactly. Any spontaneous reactions?
I'm still like 2 months ago. I'm totally not agree with doing these kind of things, but that is not the only part. So I don't know. Leonardo is still on the call, so
No, Leonardo has had to drop.
Oh.
So
that is
unfortunately,
unfortunate.
Yeah, because he is the one that knows.
Yeah, basically we followed his proof of concept for the guard logic and just changed here and there.
Probably to highlight, because previously in earlier meetings we discussed other alternatives to achieve this non-cluster wide RBAC dependency, and for us at least we are deployed on 101 different platforms and infrastructures and different flavors of Kubernetes. So, and previously I think you highlighted, Jonathan, that OpenShift has some kind of functionality for this. And yeah, basically we got the answer that our customers don't always use OpenShift. It's a mismatch between different deployments. So yeah, this is basically a gap filler for namespace admission controllers.
Also, we tried internally to push our applications, by the way, to let's use their hooks, but that didn't work out either.
We got something in between the index finger and the ring finger in reply.
Yeah, my opinion on this hasn't changed. So, well, I'm not the only one. Jeremy, you had your code.
We're also not running on OpenShift, and we have had to work around this same problem, and it has been it's a bit inconvenient. So I would second that. We're having to basically, the way that we're working around it is like that the team that manages Kubernetes has to manage any cluster level privileges, basically, right? Like our team can't have those privileges. And so effectively what, like in our case, what ends up happening is we have to kind of special case, like CNPG needs a special treatment from them, where they're able to manage they sort of special manage in their automation and their backend, like pre-provisioning out in a very narrowly scoped way the CNPG, only the stuff that's needed to be globally. So things like the webhooks. And then sort of we have a scoped down set of permissions. It's funny because even like trying to use the Helm chart is kind of a pain because like we can't, the Helm chart by default will try to like, so we have to use all those flags on the Helm chart that says don't do this, don't do this, don't, skip over anything that's a global cluster permission. And then we have to manually do all, the CRDs are another example actually. So with the CRDs, like that's another sort of like global thing that we've had to try to figure out a way to manage and to work around. So this has like, we're also, and we're only able to currently do one instance of at present because some of these things, there was a thread and a discussion about this, but there's again on Slack, some of these objects, you can only have one instance per cluster. So that also limits us to only one installation of CNPG per Kubernetes cluster. We're not able to do like it would be if we have really, really large Kubernetes clusters, it would be nice to have to not, when I upgrade CNPG, I'd like to be able to upgrade in a way that doesn't take everything out if there's a problem, all the way across this huge massive cluster to be able to have some kind of like, blast radius for things. But maybe we'll get there eventually. It's not there yet.
Yeah, well, okay, step by step. For the CRD, there's nothing we can do because the CRD are global objects and there's no way to have versions at Kubernetes level. So there's at that level, not much to do. With the permission stuff, There is again, we created the plugin and the documentation to actually modify the deployment of the YAML just because of that. So you can actually modify and replace the cluster role and have it not as a cluster role, but as a role, which is actually the one that helps to modify all that. Let me check if I find it. This is this one. No, this one is okay. For example, this customization, what it does is override the default to rename the sorry, to rename the webhooks and everything, but still will be a global object. In this case, it will be the status of don't display the webhooks, and the operator. In that case, it could be that we don't need the webhooks or try to disable them. That is something, but I want to go to something else. Which one?
One more thing to note, if right now the webhooks are not there, it's basically dying the operator. So it dies on startup because it cannot manage that situation. And what for the CRDs, they are not a big issue because they are like static objects. They don't mind anybody's business. At least that's how, I mean, yeah, okay, not perfect, but today we handle this blast radius, as you said, Jeremy, that we use most of the namespaces and try to keep all the operators in namespace, even though, yeah, it faces a bit resources, but an operator is not so huge that we can't afford to waste that tiny amount of resource to keep the impact localized if anything happens.
Yeah. Well, in that case, that's what my probably trying to have something that disables the webhook is a thing. But yeah, it's
yeah, this commit basically disables the webhooks, just adds back a bit of functionality by validating the cluster that it gets.
Well, the problem is not disabling the webhook because you can disable them by just not creating the configuration. I think the good in this commit is the fact that it enhances the reporting of issue even if webhooks are not there. And I think that that's
we are adding back a tiny bit of validation that we were able to for if something is created. What we miss is the update feature. So we don't have the history kind of in the operator to know what was there before. For adding back that part of the feature, you know, the mutating part, when the updating the new resource or the existing resource, to add back that part, we will need some kind of history for the previous state of the custom resource, which is debatable if it should be done or not. So that this was just indented, I think. Yeah.
But then I interpret it as, at least Jeremy, you're in the same seat as we are in that sense. Unfortunately, we weren't as good as you obviously were with selling the CNPG solution as a special case. So that's why we are a bit forced.
One of the discussions we have here is, I think that it's split the issue, the first step. The first one is deployment. That is something. How to deploy? You have many ways. You have the shard, you have the YAML, you have GitOps, you have Argo CD, Flux, whatever. OpenShift, OLM, whatever, YAML, customize. And the other problem is with the web. The first one is obviously if disabling the webhooks, as Gerrit already mentioned. If we don't have the webhooks, the operator will crash. That it could be one issue. And start to splitting the problem. Because probably, as already everyone mentioned, the first step and the first stopper is the webhooks. Because the webhooks are global objects, because the webhooks require to be there, otherwise the operator crash, and all the stuff we already know around the webhooks. The second one is the deployment. We support OLM, we support the Helm chart, we support the YAML file. Around that working, those stuff is not ideal. I know. OLM, people is always OpenShift and say OLM, okay. It has it's the version 0. something, 0.44 that was released today, but it's still having issues. The customize is still being a problem because it's really, how can we say, it's not easy to do it, but it's not impossible. There's already examples inside the code that how we customize. That is one of the tricks that we use is here. The OLN that is overwritten in patching. And the other one is the Helm chart. For personal reason, I will never recommend Helm charts because it already is really difficult to work with and even more difficult to customize, for sure. I will go with something with FluxDB and Argo CD, but that is another issue. And the third issue here is the permissions. So we have three different problems. I think that probably we should start trying to solve one problem at a time, okay? Because the permissions, if we go in the permission is a totally full different history, because that is the operator behaving. What if I don't have the permission? How can I detect the permission that I don't have? So that is something totally different. Right now, the operator requires two big permissions that are global. All the other can be namespaced, okay? Pro tip, you just need to change that instead of being a cluster role, it needs to be a role. Okay, that
What are
the
the
other
two big
permission.
permissions? What are the two big
The
permissions
nodes,
he said?
the nodes,
Nodes,
the nodes,
cluster image catalog,
Cluster image catalog, yes.
and then a vision controller here.
Yeah, but you're not required to use cluster image catalog. You can use just normal image catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Yes,
still
but if you don't have permission to open a watch on cluster image catalog, the operator crashes.
exactly.
And you don't really need any permission on the webhooks because those are created by the manifest, not by the operator. So the operator, the only thing that it does is it injects the CI for the communication, but that can be disabled by explicitly passing the
Yeah, but that is a hack, right? If you pass the certificate,
it's not a hack.
directly,
It's how OpenShift works, and you can do the same outside OpenShift by using Cert Manager and mounting the secret in the right directory and passing the right environment variable. It is documented.
Okay, we can agree there's many ways to do this stuff, but the important thing is the first. Let's split the work. Max, as you already started this, I propose that you start with simplifying this pull request into just support not having the webhook running first. That would be the first step. And another step will be allowing the operator running without the permissions. One of the things that is important thing is the webhook requires the end-to-end test. And why? Because by experience and in the last 4 years, we know that if we don't have those kind of tests, something can go wrong. Okay, the same for the permissions, because it's something not easy. It's really easy to someone that is going to add a permission, an annotation, or something, whatever, and that will start failing. So I'm totally agree on making the webhook that is disabled and the operator work without the webhooks, and probably everyone will agree on that. The operator working without having the permissions for nodes or the cluster image catalogs that are global objects. Totally agree on that. And we can move forward from there in small steps. Trying to do a big one, and I'm going to be really honest here. If I see 1,000 lines in this, and the title is make webhook optionals, my first thought is something is wrong here. Okay, I'm being honest, because it is what I think right away. Make webhook optionals. I opening the pull request, I was expecting something like, if the webhooks are not there, don't complain, continue. Something like that.
You don't even want to, sorry to interrupt, you don't even want to have an explicit flag for the operator? Because I would expect that if you don't have a flag, it can be a mistake or some error that the webhook is not there.
That's why I would love to have Leonardo was his idea here, because that is something we can add on the test, for example, you know, and stuff can happen and some alerts can. Should we actually have a warning? Hey, the operator is running without webhooks. stuff like that. And probably that can be another pull request that add the alerts properly and something that exposes a metric on the operator that the webhooks are not running. And that is another idea. If you expose the metric with the status of the operator. So that kind of things, if we go splitting stuff, I think we can move forward really easy and everyone can afford. I didn't know, I thought, to be honest, that Max was only one here. Obviously, you guys are there because he was on the first meeting the first time. Had this kind of issues, but now Jeremy said the same. Probably we will find someone else. So probably more people will ask for this. But if we start fixing the problems with the permissions, with the deployment, probably in the deployment, we can start working more on providing an Argo CD, Flux CD to deploy this and modify everything. So we can assume something, but trying to do everything at once.
Yeah, we are okay to reduce the scope just to not crash. That could be the first part, as you mentioned, that we can start. But we were basically asked if we could keep this nice part of the feature, but then we will open a new feature request to provide some kind of validation, because yeah, that would be nice. Max,
may I just summarize what you said? Sorry, I'm jumping ahead, Jeremy. Just to say what you said, Jonathan, but in my own words so that I understand. So a good step first would be to have a pull request where we basically run without the webhook, so we don't check whether they are available, but we don't have any validation. So we just remove these current strict dependency. Then we would have another one which would run without the cluster-wide permissions altogether. I presume that would only include tests then to make sure that we can deploy the operator with only a role, no cluster role needed. Because I presume that the source code changes would be done in the first one. And then on the third pull request would be to add the actual validation.
Yeah, and probably you can ask for more feedback. For example, Jeremy or someone having more experience on the deployment, ask people how you deploy, what kind of modification you have to do in your specific case, so we can actually create something more generic for everyone to have this more modular way to deploy the operator. And probably we will end up having something like the plugin, creating that the options and having a list of options or something like that. Or we will have with a manual best practices, again, the same item. The best practices, how to deploy the operator. What if you don't have the permissions because your Kubernetes administrator don't want you to have them? Or you are working, I don't know, in some isolated place. And that would be awesome. So now,
I wanted to,
as you can see, my opinion totally changed if you put it in that way. It probably will be the same for everyone.
Jonathan, if I can just, the comment I wanted to make, I mentioned Helm charts earlier, but I didn't want you to get hung up on that. I can deploy it anyway. The Helm charts are sometimes, with some of my, I can go to a new engineer and say, just run this command and it's easy. I'm far more concerned about the permissions model than I am about how you do the deployment, because if the permissions aren't there, like nothing's going to work. And that's my biggest concern, is like what privileges are required and can we scope down the privileges? Because that's from an enterprise perspective, like that you're trying to do minimal privilege type of setups everywhere you go. And like, we want to be able to operate in an environment where the team managing sort of core Kubernetes is different from the team managing the database platform. And that's the kind of environment where the database you want a model where the database platform team doesn't have cluster-wide privileges because you're on a large multi-tenant type of environment, right? So that's what the permissions are a bigger concern to me, is all I'm saying. I don't want you to get hung up on customized versus Helm. Like, I don't really care that much about that part of it.
So probably if we have in the community that a lot of people design, we're going to start with the permissions, then with the webhooks. But the idea is sometimes we need to put the situations in different words and split the problem so everyone will actually see the benefit on it. In this, I think that this is the case. The idea started with something I would totally tell you no, but if you start splitting and you start like going really deep, that will help other people's, I think that is the way. And by the way, the avoiding the permission is something that probably Marco can help everyone because he has a lot of experience on avoiding the issue with the permissions. Okay,
that's true.
That is something we have to do probably for the next meeting. Okay, Siet, I give you 3 minutes. So whatever, your word.
Yes, very quickly, if we step aside from the technical part and imagine just the operator to choose with an option to just how to do the permission. If we want to have the operator mandatory with the webhooks, or the administrator could let, for example, for a different airbag, some different permission, and we have permission for the deployment separated with the operator. I think we could have the both at the installation time. Thank you.
Yeah, we have more cases. So, Max, you have changed my opinion. That is
fantastic. Well, love to happy with that. Is this a use case for having? I've seen somewhere that they have a big like umbrella pull request, and then it's split up with multiple smaller ones. Or should we just have one and then they point to each other?
I think we can split an issue with the permissions, an issue with the webhook, an issue with the deployment. The deployment can be the definitely an umbrella for more pull requests because more people is going to come with probably the first step is join, in the case of the deployment, join all the different cases and situations. Okay, an epic, that is what's the word, right?
Or can we create that as peasants? Or
okay, let me create an epic for the permissions first, and then the deployment. Then we discuss the webhooks with Leonardo. He can explain me what he was the idea, so we can work on that. What do you think?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now I've taken too much time.
Yeah, way too much. No, don't worry. Okay, continue. We have only 10 minutes. Jaime. No, Jaime's not in the meeting. But I will remind, probably this is a reminder for everyone, review on this one. I will put it on the stuff for everyone, okay? Okay, Luigi, our friends from
Wait a moment.
Okay,
I think that one of the PR named by Jaime is merged, I think.
Who do I know?
Okay, I will check. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Marco. Okay, Siet, Max, and if it's time. Okay, if it's time, Jeremy, I will remind Leonardo. Max, you took too much time, but for the next week, probably in the office hours.
Yeah.
Siet, I review this. Let me check more, and I will come with more information next time. Okay. DB2. Okay, this is a special one. This is something that happened 2 weeks ago. Okay. The people from DB2 posted something that is look interesting for everyone, and that I've seen a lot. So last week, as everyone may assume or may know, we were at FOSDEM, and FOSDEM has this PG Day FOSDEM conference. So we met there with Farshad, and he talked me about this, and I think that is a good idea. We've been talking with people with BG. We're talking Riga about this. So they gladly offered to talk about and come to the community meeting to say something. Luigi, you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. This is all yours.
Yes, so maybe as far as I understand, we have 9 minutes left for this meeting. I'm gonna share my screen real quick so we can use this time as well as we can. But
perfect.
Okay, now I can. Okay, great. So very briefly, so this is all about automated CloudNativePG tuning, and this is the blog post that Jonathan was just mentioning. Please have a read and give us feedback if you can. Very briefly, the DB tune kind of mission is this idea of using machine learning models to optimize databases, and specifically we are Postgres focused, so we only work on Postgres. And this was a spin-off from Stanford, but just as a history. But the idea here is to really take Postgres that comes shipped in a fairly generic form with generic packages, and make it specific to your workload, use case, and machine, right? You all know that some of the parameters of the server in Postgres are really conservative because they have to take into account all sorts of machines. How do we take that and make it really specific to you? I will mention the parameters that you can tune with dbtune, things like work mem, maxwell size, max parallel workers per gather, random page cost, and a bunch more. There is a list online if you want to find them. The way this is done today is mainly done manually. So experts like, for example, our colleague Magnus Agander, they do this manual tuning a lot. The problem is that this takes a lot of time, needs a lot of expertise, and not all the people that manage Postgres these days have that expertise. Very often developers do that job these days. And how do we do this in a more automated fashion? So this is the third category here, trying to use an agent that can learn by observation, automatically adapt to changing workloads, and automatically tune under minimal supervision. So this is really aligned with the CNPG mindset, declarative, not imperative, right? So this is why I'm excited to kind of be part of this community from now onwards. So the idea is that these machine learning models, AI models, if you wish, they're specific to Postgres. They're not wrappers of ChatGPT or Gemini. They're kind of really they speak Postgres, they don't speak English, if you see what I mean. And that's I think a key part of this. To do this safely, you need to have that type of domain specific approach. They're workload specific. You need to know anything about AI or database tuning to do this, to use this type of tools. And highly scalable in the sense that if you have a Postgres fleet of 1,000 instances, you can potentially run this in parallel across the fleet, not in a sequential manual tuning way. I am done with the slides. This is a very high level, and then we'll go on a demo. Mohsin here will give a quick demo. This is how kind of it works. You have your Postgres pod over here, the CloudNativePG operator, and the dbtune agent. You will see more in the demo, but this the dbtune agent is able to basically, through the CloudNativePG operator, to change the Postgres configuration and then gather additional metrics that allow the agent to then understand if these changes have led to a better performance, and otherwise this keeps improving over a number of hours. So the whole tuning session, we have this concept of tuning session, which basically means you start a tuning session and after a few hours you get the results back. There is a generous free tier, so that's why I think most of the people can use this for free. And then, of course, if you're a large company, then you will probably enter some sort of agreement, commercial agreement. But it's usable by people have a few instances for free. We'll go in the demo now, and Mohsin, please take it away.
Wait a sec. I don't think we'll have time for the demo, but probably we can organize something about this, Luigi. Nice feature. A long time ago, Jeff, I don't know if he's still in the meeting. Jeff, didn't you create something that was actually about tuning too?
It was more tuning the storage and the compute to take like full advantage, so that like your storage wasn't hamstringing like the IOPS or something like that. And it was really focused on making sure you create like the proper cloud instances and take into account performance. I wanted it to tune the Postgres parameters to match that, because drift is a big deal on managed Azure. I'm not sure about tuning on an ongoing basis though, because you can't just tune once when you create it and leave it. So this is very interesting.
So if I
You
have like
had an
minutes, I can.
interface, right? That could be Something. Luigi. Okay, now it's checking the chat. Oh.
Yeah, so I
Honestly,
think
the
Jeff,
first question.
the question that Jeff was, the comment that Jeff just gave, it's kind of really explained by this quick demo. We can take 2 minutes if there is time, Jonathan. It's more about the Postgres specific parameters, server parameters. Here, the parameters govern like the runtime system, but they're Postgres specific. And I think you're talking about different layers, Jeff, if I understand correctly. But here's the quick demo. So you, Boston, please.
Yeah, I hope that you guys can hear me. So it's pretty simple.
No, we cannot. Yeah, but Luigi, this is more community, so it's more than demo and stuff like that. It is nice to have a probably I don't know. This is Apache. What is the license of this license?
So the tool is a proprietary tool, so it's not open source. But there is a generous free tier, so that's why I think many can benefit from this without paying a dime.
That is nice. So probably a lot of people can use it. Do we have something that we can share to the community so they can start logging and try it?
Absolutely. So it's app.dbtune.com, as you see here in the address, and you can create an account by yourself and then set it up following the documentation. We are looking for first, batch of adopters. So this was just released. So we're happy to work very closely with you to do this. There is also a Slack workspace as well that we use, but we are also part of your Slack workspace. So if you have questions, you can also drop them there, and we will make sure to answer them.
Nice. Hopefully someone will be actually able to test and have a lot of results. That will be nice. Probably, Jeff, you will have a lot of benefit for your project too. Here it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's fully automated. You can get here in this demo. There is a 3x improvement in performance on a benchmark that you can download from the internet. So you plug it in and it just does it for you. Of course, things change a lot in Postgres. The hardware beneath sometimes changes as well, but also the table statistics and the planner and so on. So this is not usually something you do once and forget. It's something that from time to time you want to tune again. Yeah. So if you have an agent that does it for you, it's really, really convenient. There is a lot of safety kind of guardrails and mechanisms that are wrapping this, so it's very safe to use. You can use it in production or in non-prod, and there are quite a few blog posts that talk about the experience of using this in production systems as well. If you guys are curious to read about this, we can share some blog posts on top of the one that we just shared on CNPG.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, Luigi. The first thing is someone has some time. We, as I say, started that one and closing. Please take a look at we are going to review. This is the post, Jeff, as we say, we are working on the release, so this will be the release note. Thank you, Flor, for that. Thank you very much. There has been a lot of things that were pending. Hopefully we can review and work more on this. The first reminder is we're still having another meeting in 18. So if there's some pull requests that we didn't review this one, I make sure that we push them there. I'm going to take and go through this one for Max, from Jeremy. There's no more pull requests here.
Two pull requests from Jaime.
The pull request from Jaime. Okay, I'm going to make an order for the next meeting, so we can discuss this pull request. I'm going to actually put some links.
I've got several, by the way. On the playground, there's probably like four or five of them. So been out there for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put on this one so we can actually work them on the next office hours. If someone wants to add stuff. The chat. There's something I'm missing. Is Jacob at the end of the meeting? Okay. What? It's good to speak about. Okay. sorry, Jacob. Okay, I already answered you, so we are going to see in the next meeting. Sorry about that.
Cool. No worries.
Thank you for attending. This will be available, uploaded automatically. Thank you to the Linux Foundation. Thank you very much for attending. And thank you, Luigi. If you can, please, can you add the links here so people can try and test? They can get something on their cluster for free and some help and body.
Absolutely. I will do that. Okay. Thank you guys for hosting us. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
See
you.
you the next week. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.